quite clear he didn't want to hear what the international community was saying. And what we were saying is that back in February, when I was last here, Vladimir Putin said there was not going to be an invasion, and we now know he lied. And what we were saying is that we have information, which means that we know that the Russians are seeking to hold sham referenda to annex parts of Ukraine's sovereign territory and to then use that as justification for bringing more troops into this conflict. And what we are saying today is we see what they are doing, we are going to call it out, and we are going to reject it. He didn't want to hear it, and that's why he left the chamber.
Is it that we're at the United Nations, we're at the Security Council? Pretty impotent, all of this, though, isn't it, really? It is just words from the UN in the sense that Russia's got a veto, China supports Russia.
Well, what we saw is condemnation right across the board. What we saw is the international community recognising who the aggressor is and recognising the importance of countries being able to defend their own sovereign territory. These are foundation stone principles of the United Nations. And what we also saw is that Russia is getting no succour, it's getting no support, it's getting condemnation. And that will have an effect. And increasingly, Russian people will see through this call for mass mobilization that the invasion of Ukraine by Russia is not succeeding. And what we also saw across the world is people wanting to resolve this, but wanting to resolve it in a way that gives Ukraine back to the Ukrainian people.
What would you say, though, to the viewers watching who think, there's a possible nuclear war in all of this, there's an energy crisis, we can't afford it, we should just do a deal with Russia, it's the best interest for Britain to do a deal? How do you convince them that they might be wrong?
If the message that we send around the globe to anyone who is watching, every potential aggressor, if the message that we send is that we are not determined enough, that we don't have the strategic endurance to see these things through, then the world becomes a less safe place. And other people will seek to steal territory from their neighbours, and that will have a knock-on effect for energy prices, food prices, and our security. So we have to do this until it is done, and that means when the Ukrainians have got their country back and when the Russian forces have left Ukrainian soil.
Okay, two final questions, if I may. Just first of all, on Israel and the potential moving of the embassy. Britain in, 2018, 2019 was one of 128 countries that condemned Donald Trump when he did this. But what's changed?
Well, what the Prime Minister said is we will look at the locations of our embassies, including in Israel. There's no decision that's been made. What we have seen is that the relationship between Israel and a number of the Arab states in the region has improved enormously. They enjoy now diplomatic relations with a number of Arab states. Of course, we want to look at what can be done to encourage peace between the Israelis and the Palestinian people and the wider Arab world. So we will always pursue a course of action that we believe will increase peace and security in the region. And as I say, there's no decisions been made, but we always will look with an open mind at what things we could do to help promote peace and security in the region.
And just very finally, Foreign Secretary, on Brexit and the Northern Ireland Protocol, frankly, we're pretty boxed in all of this, aren't we? We know the United States thinks it's a really important issue, the protocol. They do not want unilateral action. The EU has said there will be consequences if we take unilateral action. We're potentially facing a recession. We cannot afford to take unilateral action when it comes to the Northern Ireland Protocol.
Actually, in the discussions that I've had with our European friends and neighbours, including with Ireland and the United States of America, what they all want is they want the Good Friday Agreement to work. They want peace in Northern Ireland. What they want is free-flowing trade between Ireland and Northern Ireland and between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK. This is what we all want, and I have detected a real determination to work collectively and collaboratively to get that resolved. The Northern Ireland Protocol Bill is our safety net. We have to have a legal framework to move forward, but ultimately what we have said, both privately and publicly, is our preferred option is a negotiated settlement. And I think all the parties, including the US, will work in good faith to try and get that as a resolution. That's what we're working towards, and I think we're all on the same page on that.